Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Partizan, which is my favorite spear in the game. Now, this weapon is one that was buffed with all the other spears, of course, and in my opinion it didn't really need the buff. It was more entertaining to use it without the buff, and now it's just a lot easier to kill people, so it is what it is. It makes it a lot easier. It's still fun to use. Now, getting started, the Partizan requires 12 strength and 20 dexterity in order to wield. It has an E scaling in strength and a S scaling in dexterity. The physical base damage of the weapon is 230, and for me, the attack rating is 439 with the Ring of Blades and Flynn's Ring. The counter strength of the weapon is 130, poise damage is 20 per hit, and the weight is 4.5 units. Now, this weapon, I would say that the biggest pro, like most spears, is the reach. It's not as long as most spears in the game, so it's not as big of a deal, but in my opinion, it's actually a good thing that it's a little bit shorter. It makes it a lot easier to use because of the fact that this weapon is affected by sweet spots. You'll have a lot of people trying to get close in when you use a spear, and the fact that this weapon's sweet spot is so close makes it more user-friendly, and I think that's a good thing. So there's that. Other pros of the weapon, I would definitely say the moveset is a very, very strong contender for the biggest pro. Very, very strong, and for a good reason. Now, the Partizan is one of 3 spears that has horizontal sweeping attacks for its R2s. The other 2 being the standard spear, which is different than it was in Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 1, the standard spear actually had the same moveset as the winged spear, and the silver-black spear, which shares the moveset as well. So there's that. Now, that actually makes those 3 weapons somewhat unique, and that's a good thing. It makes it so that, you can catch people while they're rolling around you sideways. It makes it so you can use the two-handed or one-handed R2 attacks to bait people in, whether you're doing it to bait someone into the second R2 or to bait them into doing a setup parry. It doesn't matter. But those R2 attacks are fantastic for doing either of those things, and it works very, very reliably. It's one of my favorite things to do with the weapon. Also, if you unlock with it, you can spin around with those R2 attacks really, really far and catch people off guard. Something to keep in mind right there for you guys using it. Overall, it's a really good weapon, and I really enjoy using this thing a lot. But people don't keep in mind one important thing. They usually pick up this weapon, and they continue to spam R1, or, because it's got unique R2s, in a way, they start spamming their R2 attacks. They don't mix it up. And that just is not a successful, reliable way to use the weapon. People catch on to that if you don't mix up your attacks, and it makes it predictable and easy to parry, which is something I've actually heard people complain about when using this weapon. They say to me, "Oh, how do you like using that thing? Why do you like using that thing? It's so easy to parry." But it's got such a varied moveset, it is just because they're not mixing up their attacks. It's silly. And I tell them that, and then they pick it back up, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, you're right. It's a great weapon." I'm like, yeah, it kind of is. But anyway, other cons of the weapon, sweet spot. I would definitely say that the sweet spot is one of the bigger cons of the weapon, if not the biggest con of the weapon. And, it's not really a big deal because it's not as long as others, and as such, it's more reliable to hit with the sweet spot. It's a lot easier because you'll have people moving in on you. So, there's that. Overall, fun weapon to use, one of the more enjoyable spears in my opinion. Not top tier, won't really do you much good against, a buffed katana, but it is what it is. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it helpful in one way or another. Please like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you all next time.